doeth cankers, and whom is hyenas, Salakia. But the point being in verse 16, I overread that. Point being in verse 15 and 16, it says, study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, a workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, but shun profane and vain babbling, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. And that's what you're going to see in the days to come. More ungodliness, more lies, more deceit. That's all this man going to keep bringing, more lies and more deceit. And Joe Budden, he's going to be 10 times worse than Donald Orange Trump. You jakes that went out there and drove numbers to vote for this man. Let's keep it moving.
It differently, compounding this issue, there isn't enough vaccines and people can't get a simple and clear answer. Lester?
All right, Miguel Almaguer in Los Angeles, thanks. And tonight, President-elect Joe Biden is unveiling his plan to combat the COVID pandemic and boost the economy. NBC's Jeff Bennett is following this for us. Jeff, what's Biden's plan?
Lester, Joe Biden says as president, he'll call on Congress to pass a nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief package, which would also boost direct payments to Americans to $2,000 from $600, increase the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, extend unemployment benefits, and help schools safely reopen. Now, this will be an early test of Biden's ability to work with a divided Congress and help start steering the nation out of the COVID crisis. And tomorrow, the transition says that the president-elect will lay out his plan to pick up the pace of COVID vaccinations. Lester?
All right, Jeff, thanks. A new sign of how devastating the COVID resurgence has been to the economy. 965,000 Americans filing new unemployment claims last week, the most in nearly 5 months. That's about 4 times as high as pre-pandemic levels. An ex-governor and other former top officials in Michigan are facing new charges in connection with the Flint water crisis. Gabe Gutierrez has that story.
Today, former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor charges he willfully neglected his duty during the Flint water crisis, his lawyer calling it political persecution. 8 other former officials and aides were also charged in connection to the scandal, 2 with involvement
with partisanship. It has to do with human decency, resurrecting the complete abandonment of the people of Flint, and finally holding people accountable.
After the city of Flint switched from the Detroit water system to the contaminated Flint River to cut costs in 2014, at least 12 people died, 80 others were sickened, and thousands of children were exposed to high levels of lead in their drinking water. Flint mother Leanne Walters says she and her 4 children have been battling health problems for years, and she has this message for those charged.
How did you let the cries of a whole entire city go unnoticed? Why did common sense and human nature not kick in to say something was wrong?
But Governor Snyder's lawyer calls the case against him a flimsy one and a waste of taxpayer money. Lester?
All right, Gabe, thanks. Now our NBC News exclusive. The top disease official in China speaking about the origin.
We're just going to pull out a scripture on that former governor of Detroit. And this is Proverbs chapter 16. Starting at verse 1. It says, the preparation of the heart in men, the preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is far from the Lord Yahweh. These people do these demonstrable and abominable acts with not a care or thought of the repercussions of the consequences of their actions unto the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. He's far from their hearts. He's far from their minds. That's the last thing they think of. Verse 2, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord Yahweh weigheth the spirit. See, in his eyes, he all good, you know. He been walking amongst this earth right here, destroying and polluting and perverting all this time. So, you know, in his eyes, you think the Lord is on his side, if he have the Lord in his mind at all. Verse 3. And it says, commit thy workers unto the Lord Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Lord had made all things for himself. That's the point. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Even the wicked for the day of evil. And according to Malachi 1, chapter 1, verses 1 through 4, we understand that the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, is the wicked or the evil. Verse 5, everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord Yahweh, though hand in hand he shall not be unpunished. Though hand be in hand, he shall not be unpunished. So every time this man does something abominable to you, does something profane to you, and when I say you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native, and Seminole Americans, every time this man does something profane and abominable to you, and then you find yourself on national TV, mainly you women, finding excuses to forgive this devil, the Lord say, though hand join hand in hand, you will not go unpunished.
Of the coronavirus, and as the WHO begins investigating how it first appeared in Wuhan. Here's Janice Mackey-Frayer.
Tonight, 1 year after the virus emerged, a World Health Organization team is in Wuhan, though 2 scientists were denied entry after testing positive for antibodies. The latest hurdle with China wary of blame. The country's chief epidemiologist telling NBC News the WHO should look elsewhere.
Do you believe the virus started in Wuhan?
No.
Do you believe it started in China?
Yeah.
Then where?
I do not have an answer yet.
Chinese officials have long tried to recast the virus's history.
I don't have answer yet.
We need a commitment to transparency and openness.
The stakes are high, and tracing the origin could take months or longer.
Now, I don't think we're going to get an answer quickly.
Theories have included Wuhan's high-security lab, where NBC News was granted rare access last year. Dr. Shuzhong Li, known here as Batwoman for her virus research, tells NBC News by email there's no way it leaked from here. And according to lab directors, the WHO will not investigate the Wuhan lab as a possible source. It isn't clear what the WHO experts can gather. The epidemic in Wuhan, now just a showcase. The virus's trail, presumably, gone cold. Janice Mackey-Frayer, NBC News, Beijing.
It's been a year. It feels like 10 years, doesn't it? In 60 seconds, an officer fatally shoots an unarmed black man outside his home. What the video leading up to it shows. Police shooting of an unarmed black man in Texas. The moments leading up to it caught on video. NBC's Ron Allen has more.
I do believe that I'm about to run out of time on this video. So I want to close out with a shalom, Kahala, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men who have been patiently suffering for 30 plus years for these times to make them, for these prophets to come to fruition. That shows you that these men have tremendous faith in the Lord. A shalom to the likewise brothers and the young elders of Great Millstone. To you I say shalom and a Bible ball.